Hey y'all, welcome back. And if you're new to the channel, thanks for stopping by. I'm Coach Liz, and I'm here to empower you to live the life that you deserve. And today we're going to look at my December budget. And I'll be sharing with you the 4 steps that I use to begin my budgeting journey that you can implement today. First things first, I know and I understand budgeting isn't for everyone, right? And it took me some time to actually get into budgeting because I had to find the right app and template that worked for me. So I get it. And I would recommend that everyone try budgeting for at least 6 months and see what you get out of it. And even if it's not right for you, and you're like, yeah, this is not for me, okay. I guarantee you will still learn some things about your finances throughout that process. And you will have the knowledge needed to make smarter financial decisions moving forward. All right, let's go ahead and get into my budget. All right, y'all. So let's go ahead and look at my budget and see how I did for November. So I said I would bring in $3,136, and I actually brought in $3,138. So I believe taxes might have just been off slightly to make that $2 difference. And then over here on the right hand side, you'll see updated 11/30. Last transaction was Venmo at $48. As I update my budget throughout the month, I always go ahead and write that here so that I know when I go back, okay, this is the last thing I did, so that moving forward, I don't duplicate things in my budget. So if we look at expenses under needs, and the biggest expense that I went over this month was groceries. I budgeted $650. I actually spent $850.33, which was an overage of $200.33. And obviously Thanksgiving was in the month of November. And yeah, I don't know. We just ate a lot, I guess, in the month of November. The good thing is we get down to my dining out. I did really well with that. So maybe that's kind of where, because I was taking more lunches to work and things like that, maybe that's where that money went. And if you go down, you can see gas expenses, phone, and internet. My phone bill did change. Actually, not phone, I'm sorry. Our cable bill did change a little less than $10 a month. It went up. And I was thankful that I had my budget because in the past that's happened and I didn't really notice it. So I was able to call them and figure out that a promotion had ended. So that was the difference. And then for the dog, we actually didn't spend as much. So that was a nice little savings of $129.71. Business expenses. I hadn't planned on these extra expenses for my business in the month of November. However, I realized that I needed to get a website up and running and things like that. So I did have extra expenses that I did not budget for in November to the tune of $136.01 more than I budgeted. All right, so for wants. Clothing, I went over slightly. Dining out, as I said, I actually saved 42 cents. Entertainment, my husband paid for our date night in November, so I did not have to pay anything. So therefore, I was actually able to save that and move that money somewhere else. Personal care, again, I came in a little under budget. Travel expenses came in under budget because we decided that although we did take a trip in November, that we were going to use the money that we had put in our joint savings account to cover those bills. Home decor, putting up Christmas decorations. I did not anticipate spending that much money because I have been putting up Christmas decorations for years. And I just thought I had everything I needed. So anyhow, I ended up going over budget there, $80.79. And then for the girls, I stayed within budget. Gifts, I didn't allocate anything for that. However, I did end up making some purchases for gifts at $106.03. And then I had the miscellaneous category, which I did budget $50. For some reason, I had, you see on the left side over here, it says $60.11. I had a charge on my account for that. And I believe it has something to do with when we went on vacation. And I still truly, to this day, I'm still trying to figure out what exactly that was. Probably not the best move for me in a budget, but hey, it is what it is. It happens. So I need to still figure that out. But I put it in a miscellaneous because I still actually, of course, have to account for it because it was an expense. And then down here for my savings, I put everything that I said I was into savings. So 40 for the dog, 30 for holiday savings, 500 into a retirement account. And that is it. And at the bottom, you can see I actually went and spent $17 more than I actually had budgeted for. And I have a savings account for that. So I just transferred it over and then I was good to go. So that is my budget for the month of November. All right, so let's go ahead and look at my December budget. Or I am on a salary, should I say. So I budgeted $3,136 for income. And we're supposed to get a bonus this month, I guess you would say, which is very odd. As educators, we don't normally get that. So I'm very grateful. It's supposed to be $1,000. However, I'm estimating after taxes, I might get about an extra $800. So for the month of December, I am budgeting for $3,936 in income. And if we look down here at groceries, I kind of went in the middle. So I spent about 800 some, I believe, in November. And then in October, I spent 600 some. So I said, okay, I'll just come in right about the middle. $750 is what I'm budgeting. Gas, I left it at normal, 120. The cable bill, I went ahead and upped that to the 156.22. Dog expenses will only be 100 this month. Business expenses, I know I'm not going to be spending a whole bunch this month in businesses, so I put that back down to 50. And I did add a line item for personal development, and I put that at 50. And then, of course, a home warranty I pay every month is $58.50. Clothing, I left it the same. Dining out, I did bump that up a little bit because I know we're going to be traveling. So I put that up because I know a lot of times when we travel, obviously, we eat out more. Entertainment, I put that up quite a bit. I am paying date night this month, and my daughter will be back in town from college. So I know we'll be doing some other fun things this month. So I went ahead and bumped that up. Personal care came down a little bit because the only thing I pay for right now is my eyebrows. I do my hair at home and I do my nails at home too. And then travel expenses, I put that to 100 because I know we will be traveling this month. So I just put that at 100. We should only need to be paying for gas in that case because we'll be staying with family. So we don't need to pay for hotels. And then home decor, left it at 50. Girls, I left it at 150. Gifts, I bumped it up quite a bit because it is the holidays. Christmas is coming up. So looking forward to it. And so therefore I know I'm going to be spending more on gifts. So I put that up, and the miscellaneous I left at 50. And then I also added some line items here. So I have a regular savings account, and then I have high yield interest savings account. And if you don't know what a high yield interest savings account is, I would highly recommend you look into it. And I plan on continuing to contribute to that. You get more of a return on this account. So I will be putting 200 in there. And then for personal development, I'm going to start a account for that. So I'm going to start that by putting 50 in so that when I want to go to trainings and things like that, I'll have money set aside for that. And then the holiday savings and retirement stayed the same. And then last but not least, I did have a credit card balance that I've already paid. So it was $158.98. Now it was for the dog. However, because it was on my credit card, I put it down here, but then over here in the notes, you'll see I put dog. So when I calculate my expenses at the end of the year on how much I actually spent on the dog, I'll make sure to include that in there. And then if you look at the bottom, total expenses is $3,899, and I should come out with a positive $37. Now over here, you'll see it shows like I'm in the negative because I put in here that I already paid it out and I didn't do anything with my income yet. And that is December's budget. Now I want to go into the 4 steps that I used to actually start budgeting. Now, the steps are simple, yet they can be time consuming. So it's okay, be patient with yourself. And I would encourage you to begin the process now, today, so that next month you'll be ready to rock and roll with your budget. All right, so the first step is to calculate your monthly income. As an educator, my monthly income is pretty standard. I'm on salary, so I make the same pretty much every month. So for me, that was an easy step. And unfortunately, I don't have any other income coming in yet. However, I know everyone's income isn't that way. So if you're in a job that fluctuates in income, or you have multiple incomes, I would recommend using the lowest amount that you would bring in for the month to set up your budget. Step 2, use last month's bank statement to determine your expenses. So for example, we all have the regular expenses that might come out via mortgage or rent, car note, electric bill, phone bill, and things like that, right? So those are pretty much set. However, remember to include those bills that fluctuate throughout the month. So like, for example, gasoline might fluctuate throughout the month. Your spending for eating out would fluctuate throughout the month. Groceries, how much you put into a savings and invest, and so forth. So remember to include those. What I used to guide me when I started my budget was the previous month's bank statement. So I kind of looked and saw, okay, this is what I spent this month in eating out. So I'll just budget kind of for that this coming month. And then I tweaked it as the month went on. Step 3, find a budgeting app or template that works for you. I will tell you, this for me was kind of the longest step because there's so many different types of budgets out there. There's so many different apps out there. And I tried one, I tried this, I tried that. And what I ended up finding was the 50-30-20 rule. And I found a free template online that I tweaked, of course, made it my own, that I use. And I will go ahead and include that template in the description below. And don't get discouraged, right? I know for me, I did at one point, I was like, ugh, this isn't speaking to me. I don't like this one. I don't like that one. And I'm very grateful that I stuck to it and I found one that worked for you. And here's the other thing. Find an app or budget that works for you. Try it out for a couple months. If you're like, yeah, this just doesn't work, tweak it, change it, make it your own, or find something totally new. And I continue to budget for at least 6 months before you decide that budgeting isn't for you or that it is. And the last step, once you've found the budget app that works for you, is to plug in your numbers. Put in your income, put in your expenses, savings, investing, and continue to monitor your spending and income throughout the month and make adjustments as needed. I know it sounds simple and everything takes time, right? And it's all good. I guarantee you, if you stick to it, it will be worth it. You will learn some things. Whether you decide you want to stick with budgeting or not long term, it's definitely a personal choice. And I would highly recommend that you give it a try and let me know how it goes. And if you start the budgeting process or you just aren't sure where to start that process, I will gladly help you to get started with budgeting. Now, disclaimer, I am not a financial advisor by no means. So I wouldn't be the one to actually say, okay, you should allocate this money here and allocate that there. No, that's not what I mean. I will gladly help you to get your finances organized in the sense where it's like, okay, what template works for you? How do we use it? How do we monitor it? I'll take you through the steps of setting up a budget and using that budget. And again, if that's something you're interested in, you can send me a DM on Instagram, you can send me an email, or you can check out my website and contact me that way. Until next time, be well and get organized so you can live the life that you deserve.